I work a lot with code enforcement agencies to help when they are really not knowing what to do with their hoarding cases. So it's been happening more and more. They get reports from neighbors who call the city to complain. So you have neighbors that are disappointed. They're moving into new neighborhoods. They have older people living in homes that may be hoarded. So the exterior looks a little bit rough. There could be junk in the yard. The trees can be overgrown. They haven't updated their paint. So neighbors get frustrated. They call the city, and then the city can escalate it to a code enforcement officer. I've heard of many, many stories from people where multiple code enforcement officers go, they ring the doorbell. It can be very intimidating if you're on the other side of that, living in those conditions. If you're hoarding, you're already afraid of what might happen. And then you have two or three, sometimes in one instance I heard where there was four people standing on the other side of the door to give a notice. That's a little bit terrifying for anyone. Even if you're not hoarding, if you have four strangers at your door, would you open it? You probably wouldn't. But then what happens if they don't open the door? Then code enforcement can post a notice on their door mandating that they clean it up. Let's say they give them 30 days. They don't offer any resources. They haven't had a conversation to see what's on the other side. There is a person on the other side with feelings, with emotions, with circumstance that they may not even have thought of. So they post the notice on the door, giving them maybe 30 days, maybe longer, but typically it's 30 days. Then at that point, if they come back to re-inspect and nothing's happened, they can give them another notice. And then it can just get escalated. So now this person has increased fines, their stress is increased, they're even more terrified of losing their home than they were before. In many instances, I've actually heard of these individuals facing jail time. So it goes up through the courts. So if you think about how much money is spent on the judicial process, on the number of code enforcement agencies and the time that they put in it, without even thinking about putting money into a resource to actually help, there's a lot of opportunity for change. We can do so much. And it starts with really trying to put the person behind the closed doors as the focus instead of the property. In most instances, if we work with a person, there is change, and we can work with them slowly enough, but still make the inspection date, still help them to become successful in cleaning it up. But it doesn't happen without contact, without trust, without actually having a conversation to hear what's going on. There's a lot of opportunity for many different cities and counties and agencies to just do it differently. It's not going to take any more resources than what's already out there. You're just using them in a different way, in a more compassionate way, in a more kind way. Because in most cases, if they have resources and they have someone who understands and can actually work with them, they will be successful and they will be able to stay in their homes. Because in Colorado, housing is a big issue. So it's not really something that they can lose their homes and then go and afford to live in a nursing home or assisted living. And we certainly don't want any more people on the streets that don't want to be there. So I understand it so well, and I think I'm calling all of the different agencies. I've been having so many conversations, and I see that people want to make a change. So I would say now is the time to change. And you can definitely reach out to me if you want any more advice or really in our experience, knowledge of what does work. Because there are things that are working out there, and many people just haven't tried. So if that gives anybody some hope today, I hope that it does. Things need to change, but it only starts one agency at a time. So it can certainly change with intention, awareness, kindness, and compassion as always.